today I'm joined with Catherine, and we are discussing prices, all about the dollars. So, Catherine, price is a huge incentive when it comes to purchasing a home, obviously, budgeting, etc. So let's just get in on prices go up regularly, and currently our market's growing, so prices are going up. Is that accurate?
Yes. If you look at the numbers for June 2020 compared to June 2019, the prices are slightly higher than they were before. So the answer is yes. The same thing happened in April and in March, all through the work-at-home orders, and January, February were super strong. So yes, this whole 2020, the prices are higher than they were the year before, and that was from the year before that as well.
Right, and this up in numbers isn't astronomical.
No.
However, obviously you always want the best price on what you can get, right?
Yes.
And so let's talk about prices going up. Does that only benefit the sellers? Does that in any way harm a buyer?
No. For example, right now, interest rates are incredibly low. You can get 3% or less across most programs. Even if you work with down payment assistance, where there's a charge, your interest rate is going to be hovering right around the 3.5, 3 and 5/8 mark. So and that's today. And what that means is when you compare purchasing a house today at $300,000 with 3% interest rate versus purchasing a home a year ago that may have been $290,000, but at 5% rate, really it's a wash. The payment is directly related to your interest rate. So what you buy is not so much the price tag on that house, that sticker price. What you buy is your monthly payment. What does it mean to you for your budget? How much can you afford to spend on rent or mortgage payment every month? That's what you're buying.
Right, so on the same note of monthly payments, you don't pay for your house unless you're paying for cash, you don't pay all up front, right?
No.
So if you are financing, it basically comes down to monthly payments.
Yes.
And I have gathered, this is where some people can get into a little bit of a bind, because there are sometimes other costs to take into consideration, like HOA, right?
Right.
Because that could up your monthly payment.
Absolutely. So your monthly payment, when you pay rent, you usually just pay rent, and then you pay your utilities. Mm-hmm. Sometimes between your landlord, you may have to pay for the pool or the backyard maintenance. So all of those little expenses add up, and that makes up what your housing budget is for the month. When you have a mortgage, you want to take the same consideration when preparing your budget. So yes, you should have a thorough understanding of what your monthly payment is, not just the house or paying the mortgage back, but all of your other expenses.
Like HOA and utilities.
HOA, utilities, taxes, special property taxes that might be specific to the home, because again, you're buying that particular chunk of your budget. That's what you want to lock in. You want to make sure that that's consistent, fixed, solid. You can count on that every month.
That's good to hear. So it's definitely about thinking ahead. And so let's discuss monthly payments. Obviously, is holding out for a good price on a home possible? Like, I really like this house. Should I wait until it drops in price? Is that a good strategy? Is that feasible?
Again, I go back to know your numbers. So for example, if the house is asking $275 today and you really want to pay $273, what does that mean to you exactly in terms of your monthly payment? Because yes, $2,000 is a lot of money, but if in terms of monthly payment it only means $5, then it's not so significant as it is locking in that house today at, let's say, $1,400 a month as opposed to $1,395. That $5 is not going to make you or break you, but if that interest rate goes up just a percentage, and now that monthly payment goes from $1,400 to $1,550, that's significant.
Right.
To again that monthly budget, that monthly payment that you want to lock in.
And it's all based on time. So obviously you shouldn't just impulsively purchase a home. But
no,
here in Vegas, houses sell fast. So it's kind of like you have a client who wants to buy a fixer-upper,
Mhm.
and they spend a little too long thinking about it and the house sold, right?
Yes. Homes are selling quickly, especially when they're priced well. A well-priced home is going to be recognized by a prospective purchaser, and they're going to grab it up, as you should.
Right. And part of you, as a real estate expert, you can tell if a home is overpriced, right?
Absolutely. We're able to check comparables. We're able to gauge the temperature of the market, and that compounded with your financing, whether you're paying cash or taking out a mortgage, all of that help us make an informed decision. Again, because we're getting that monthly payment.
Exactly. And so, by that same token, if a home is overpriced, that price could be negotiable, right?
Of course, absolutely. We always, everything is negotiable in life. So it's, we could negotiate, maybe we don't argue over $2,000 in price. Maybe we want them to pay more than that in closing costs. Maybe we'd like $5,000 in closing costs and expenses.
Or repairs.
Absolutely, or repairs, or a new carpet, or some sort of concession. Absolutely.
Right, so that definitely all seems feasible, and obviously, when you look at the dollar price of a home, that's not logistical. You want to look at your monthly payment. And so, let's talk about refinancing. Could that lower your monthly payment if your house goes up in value? What does that entail? Do you know anything?
Yes, so refinancing is getting a new loan to pay for your existing loan. And ideally, you do that with the intent of lowering the payment, normally by lowering your interest rate, or you want to take some of your equity out. So you take out a new mortgage and use your own equity that's in the home. That's obviously comes down the road after you
After
own
you
the home.
purchase.
Yes.
Right.
I would, again, just bring it back to that monthly payment. An entry-level home right now in today's market in Las Vegas costs the same or maybe just a slight bit more than renting the exact same house. So for example, if you're gonna pay $1,600, $1,700 a month in rent and you're gonna have 2-3 roommates help you live in your first home, that's fantastic, right? They'll help you and everybody subsidizes the cost of the home. However, if you could own that same home and have your roommates help you pay your mortgage instead of that landlord's rent,
Right.
in 2-3 years from now, you would have built equity. And by locking in that mortgage payment, which would have been the same or just slightly above your rental, that was your first step. You've established your starting line. And now, 2-3 years later, because you're gonna live somewhere for the next 2-3 years no matter what,
Right.
you have equity. The home price has gone up in value, modestly perhaps, maybe 3 to 5% a year, which is very common across the country. But it's a little nest egg. And then 2-3 years later, you have that equity, which you could take out through a refi, you could sell the home, you could do whatever, and now you have a substantial amount of cash that will allow you to make your next move. Whether that's upgrading a house, whether it's just keeping it and saving it, or moving on to wherever.
Right, so that's all good to hear, and prices are not something to be fearful of. It's definitely something you can work with. As Catherine said, it isn't just that big number you see on Zillow. It's basically subject to your financing, your monthly payment, and it's all about strategy. So you got to come to the experts, and they help you out.
That's what we're here for.
Right, so if you want to know more about prices, visit the Hyde Real Estate website, reach out to Catherine, reach out to any of our agents as they are all big experts on our market, and yeah, they might be going up, so it's still a great time to buy right now.
Absolutely. Give us a call. We'll be happy to crunch numbers with you, look at scenarios, and wrap your head around where you want to take your goals.
Right.
Be a pleasure.
So, thank you for joining us, Catherine. Yeah, listen to our next episode. Ciao, ciao.